their energy level. And I'm actually recovering from a flu. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to try not to vote for number 3, but I'll be here.
I love the music in the background. It's so classical and,
French, good vibes, summery vibes.
Oh, Mimp is here. Romi's pumped up too. You can see Romi's all energized. She's ready.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah,
We need
I
that
think
energy,
keep on
Romy.
dancing, keep on moving. It's nice. It's important.
Yeah.
Feel the groove and move.
Mm-hmm.
Mimp,
We see some familiar faces. It's
how are
lovely to
you,
see
Mimp?
everyone.
I'm good. How are you?
So many in the space. Wow.
I'm glad to see you all here.
Maybe you
Medea,
can share
if you want to
where
get
people
started
are
with
joining
the...
in from. Sorry.
Yes.
You
Let's
can
see
share
where
in-
everyone's joining in from. You want to pop that in the chat? Some people like to travel, so one week they're here, other week they're there. You never know.
That's amazing.
Okay, so we're 3 minutes in. We'll give it another 30 seconds and we'll begin. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, in the meantime, while waiting for people, Medea, do you wanna? How familiar are people here with butter? Maybe we can do a bit of quick
Let's do it the other way. No, let's do it the other way. How many are not familiar with butter? Because I know a lot of people here are.
Is anyone quite new? You can press 1 if you're new to butter. Let's see those thumbs if you are.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
see.
no one's new.
That's
The
why
tutorial
that's
should
why I
be
said
fast.
let's do it the other way
Perfect.
around. Yeah.
Then I don't think we need that introduction. We can head straight there. Then.
Yeah,
Yep, we know
it.
that.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is a good time, so we can start. I'm just gonna pause the music.
Yeah.
Okay. I love the music though. Right. Once again, welcome everybody. It's good to see you again. I've actually been here after some time. It has been a roller coaster of a month, but a good one. So again, welcome all. And today we have something really good for you. I mean, like for me, it's going to be very new and interesting. So let's start by let me first introduce myself as Madiha. I can see some familiar faces. Some of you know me, and some of you don't. I co-lead the Facilitation Sandbox, what you see today, together with my amazing co-hosts or leads, Cheska and Andrea. Andrea's not here with us, but she's usually here, and she's amazing. So before we dive deeper into today's session, I do want to mention that we are recording, and I think the recording started already, because we want to make learning accessible to as many people as possible. But if you're not comfortable with that, it's okay. Feel free to keep your camera off. You can use any of the avatars, of fun avatars that we have, or you can use the reactions and the chat to react with us throughout the session, and you can let us know your thoughts of the day. So now let's come back to the sandbox. So as you know, the sandbox is our playground. It's a safe space where we experiment different tools, methods, and we test our workshop to get feedback from our live audience. So get your pens, paper, your keyboard ready because we love feedback. So these sessions, please remember, they're not about experts, but they're rather about trying new things and learning together. And we have amazing host today, Silvia. There we go, Silvia Coco. I love her last name. And she's going to take us on a hands-on practical session that's designed to stretch your brain and find your voice, your inner voice. Very artistic, isn't it? So I'm now going to stop here and I'm going to hand it over to Silvia. Let's take it, Silvia.
Thank you so much. I prepared a couple really quick slides not even slides, that's like so old-timey, just flashcards, there you go, to present myself. So thank you for giving me the floor. I'm just gonna be very vague. I'm just a creative being. I feel like I do it all. I have a very non-linear path, but mostly my background is in marketing, and I'm also an illustrator, and that has always led me to work with branding, design, and really communication 360 degrees. And recently, I've actually launched a new brand, which I call La Creativa Strategy, sorry, which really means the creative in Italian. I'm from Italy originally. All these aspects of creativity, strategy, left and right brain, and I work with entrepreneurs, freelancers, and small teams for the most part, designing the workshops, helping them find business strategies and tailor programs based on their needs and the challenges that they're currently facing. So it's a lot of understanding the current scenario and building a roadmap to your goals. But rather than doing it as a coach, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Rather than doing it as a coach, I sort of work with them to generate a roadmap that fits their particular needs. So why this workshop? How is that related? So of course, coming from communication, I do have to create a lot of content for a lot of my clients and for myself and for this brand, which I've even not officially launched yet because I'm also working part-time in an AI company. So there's two big reasons why I think it made sense, and it makes sense for a lot of people to work on creating content and on being creative. One of it is strategy is coming up with ideas. Like, you have to be creative, but you also have to be purposeful. So there's a creative stage to any project, even the most, businessy that you can imagine. Even IBM is a creative department. And two, creativity actually comes when you have a clear purpose. So there's also a strategic stage to any project. And bringing those things together is kind of where the magic happens. So while a lot of people think that they're not creative, today I want to sort of show you one of the frameworks that I developed, one of the systems that can help you tap into really quickly, easily get into how you can create ideas for whatever challenge you're working on at the moment. Maybe you're launching something, maybe you're just positioning something, and maybe you're just here for fun to see what might happen. So let's go. That's that for the slides. This is almost like a scary word. And we're going to jump on Miro. So let me start some music background so we get in the flow. And hopefully everybody loads their Miro playground and we can get started. If you have any trouble with it, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll just go ahead, and for any technical trouble, my amazing co-facilitators are also here, so thank you for that. All right, so a little warm-up. We're not going to be using a ton of features of Miro. We're mostly going to be using sticky notes, but stickers are always cute, so if you ever want to interact with stickers, go ahead. And on the left bar is where you find them. Is anybody not at all familiar with okay, Mimp, I see you're having technical trouble, so I'll leave that to Medea or Cheska to help me with. For those who can see Butter, Miro, anybody?
We're just going to check why the link is not working, just to give us a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so is it for a lot of people?
Yeah.
Give me one moment. If you can see that beside the Miro tab, there should be 3 dots. Could you try hitting refresh? Yes, ma'am. It's also working for me, so it just might be a connection thing.
Okay.
So let us know while people are sorting that out. Maybe we can run
We can get started. Yeah. There's perfect. Oh yay, great! It's working.
Perfect.
I have yay. Okay. So it's really easy. For now, we're just going to be moving these small elements. I'm going to bring you all back to me. So I'm sure that we're seeing the same thing. So the first question would be, how creative do you consider yourself? So if you just take one of these little birdies and move it to a scale, and let's see where we're at. Let me start up the little music in the background. Okay. Oh, somebody's like way out the scale. Those are the creative. All right, mostly on the creative side, so that's good. So we're not completely lost today. For those who feel less creative, I think that's where having a structure can be really helpful to make you feel more confident, because you know you're just following steps and things are coming out of you in an effortless way. So number two, don't worry about the things moving around. When you think about having to create content ideas, how do you feel? Like mostly grumpy, or is like, oh, this is a chore, or mostly happy, is like, yay, you get to talk about stuff that I'm doing or that I want to do. All right, kind of in between. Some more on the grumpy side, a few, a few on the very good side. Awesome, but mostly in neutral, or sort of, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Do you already use, if you move slightly down, yeah, the actual posting bit, I get it. the scheduling and all that comes in play as well. Do you use tools non-AI or exercises to come up with ideas? Like maybe you already imagine in the workshop world, you already know some brainstorming exercises. Maybe you've heard Crazy Hate or mind maps or anything like that, but no AI. All right, a few. Feel free to write in the chat if you already voted and you want to share with us what exercises or tools you might be using. That could be useful for everybody. Okay, nobody said completely none. So you've used some sort of instrument to help with your creativity. Great. And the last one, do you use AI at all to help in your creative process? I'm gonna be like here, halfway in between yes and always. Oh, never. Great. I know, with this answer, I thought before the workshop, I thought, does that mean we need to challenge whoever says never to start using AI, or are they, one of the few pure creatives left out there who needs to be protected? All right, fantastic. So most people use it sometimes. I think that's good. And one of the reasons, this workshop is called GenIDEA, so clearly there's an AI component to it, which is not going to be in today's process, but it is part of how you can enhance and take it to the next step. So I'll cover that at the end, but there is a connection to this intro question. Alrighty, now that we were all warmed up, if you follow the little dots, oh, somebody moved my little ladybug. If you follow all the dots, you come to another frame. It's okay if you see it quite zoomed in. Let's see it a little bit at a time. So my goal here was to let you know that ideas come, oh, remove the music. Sorry, I don't know how I clicked that, but if you wanna, if somebody wants to put it back on, go ahead. The idea behind this diagram is that when we're creating ideas, it goes through a process, right? So we start from a challenge and we need to gather our thoughts to find a solution to that challenge. And we want to get to a plan, to a place where not only do we have an idea, but it has a purpose, it's useful, and we are ready to implement it. So like the posting bit, like Cheska was saying, for when it comes to social media content, for example. So today we're going to focus on some of these. I'll review them really quickly, like 1 minute, and then we get into the exercise. But essentially the steps is that first we need to open our mind. Before we do that, we need to frame our challenge. When we understand what we're looking to create, that's going to already give us some boundaries that can bring purpose to then generating those ideas. So if it's too vague, it's going to be harder. If we can really pinpoint, for example, creating content for a product launch, that's already going to help us be more specific when we're thinking and pulling in ideas that are more meaningful. Then we want to explore, right? We want to add in research. We want to see what other people might have done. You might have past experience that you're sourcing from. Then you diverge and you brainstorm. Okay, now you've gathered you know what you're creating for. You've gathered your inspiration. Now it's time to get all your ideas flowing. Today, we're really going to be within the frame, diverge, and then the next step, stretch. So stretch is about provoking those ideas. It's not enough to just have had this first few thoughts. You then want to stretch them. You want to carry them further. You want to question them. You want to ask yourself, how can you bring it to the next level of that idea? Be crazy, be creative. That's where you're really expanding. And then you flow towards converge, which is when you start judging those ideas, you refine, you move forward to review. So you're starting to really think, okay, I've selected that I will do this, this, and that. What do I need to achieve that? Can I compare, the value of them? What goals are we trying to achieve with that? And finally, there's the planning step. So now you have your set of ideas, your collection, and there's a timeline for it. And you need to take specific actions. So you need to design which actions to take. So this conversation is quite broad. Like I said, we'll only focus on a few steps, also for a matter of time, but it should help you, give you a sense of, nobody's expecting you to be creative just from a blank canvas and then immediately have all these incredible ideas. It's a process. And if you take it step by step and with a certain structure, you can bring better ideas to that canvas. The arrows that go back on the bottom is because it's also perfectly acceptable that while you're in, for example, the refine stage, you're like, oh, actually, okay, I think I've selected these 3 ideas, but I want to go back to the stretching process, to provoking those ideas, or to trying to expand them. And then you converge again, and then you refine again. So it's an iterative process. It can happen in a variety of, flows. But essentially today we're getting into that first part. So the opening up, the stretching the ideas and seeing how we can lay out strategies that help us be more creative. Okay, so now we follow the blue dots and you'll see a board, which is, the green edges is my nice little picket fence. And here is my little garden to create ideas. This is a small practice board. In the end, I will show you what it might look like very big. First, let me check in that everybody is still here, happy, energized.
Yes. Yes.
All right, awesome.
Silvia, would you mind maybe summoning everyone to you? Because I noticed some of them might be in different parts of the board.
I'm sorry, I missed the first part. I heard some in different parts.
Would you mind summoning people to your view?
Oh, yeah.
In case they haven't followed. Thank
world.
you. They could also be. Don't get me wrong. Thank you.
Right. Here we are. So if anybody got lost, now you're in my little garden. So before you start clicking on this one specifically, if we zoom out, and I will zoom out for everybody and then bring you again to me. There you go. So now you have the view. There's a lot of little gardens. So just pick one, fly to it, zoom in, give it your name, and we can get started in 1 minute. I believe I locked the frames, but not all the little elements are necessarily locked in. So just pick one and go in, and you should be able to write your name. While you do that, I'm gonna take advantage to put the music back on. There you go. Also, I'm talking a lot and I'm used to much more like one-on-one interactions. So if somebody wants to like unmute themselves and has a comment, please don't be scared of that. Okay. All right. So I see some people. Did everybody pick a garden and is there to, with their name and has claimed it? All right, great.
Yeah, my screen seems to be locked. So I see like a zoom in on the fern, but I can't interact with it.
Okay, let me bring you to one. I'm just gonna bring you to one of the boards that, okay, this one is claimed. There you go. This one doesn't seem. Something funny has happened with Butter. 1 second, where my top view of Miro is gone, so I can't access my controls for some reason. Let me take a
Nick, would you be able to, when you say it's locked,
It's like
you
it's
mean
gone
Right.
under.
Right. So what I'm seeing on my end is I have a zoomed in picture on the fern. I have a white line across the top of my screen. My cursor is able to move, but if I click on the screen, I have just the cursor. There's nothing that I can interact with on the screen.
So I'm trying to call you back to me, but I'm also having technical trouble, Jessica. So
sorry, maybe Nick, what you can do is I'll send the link to you over to the
Yeah,
Miro
I'm gonna
board
suggest
and see
that.
if that also
Okay.
works.
All right.
And then if you can also try hitting refresh.
I'll try. Yeah.
But if you're not able to do the
Right.
controls, it likely is on Miro, not
Okay.
Butter.
Let me do a refresh on my end and see.
yeah, I'm also refreshing. But what's happening to me, Jessica, and then I'll send you a screenshot, is that my commands, my facilitator commands, are hidden behind Butter's top bar. So I cannot click to. Oh, maybe yes.
Okay, send me a screenshot and then I can see whether it's a.
Okay. All right. So let's get started now. Let's get into the content challenge. So we're sure that we make all the parts of the exercise on time. What you should see is a frame in yellow with we're in content challenge, and then step 0, define what you're creating content for. So I've put down some ideas, but take a minute to think if you want to use either one of these or write down another idea, and that's sort of how we're very quickly framing our challenge today. So it's about creating content, but you can define what you're creating that content for. Okay, so Romy, I see you're chatting with me. I tried to send you an answer. If you have any trouble, feel free to write again. I'll move on for the group, and then we can it's a quick step. So if you missed it, we're just defining like the content for the exercise. So what are you trying to create content for your brand, for a product, for positioning a service, etc. So just take a minute to go through it. Okay, for everybody else, I hope I can bring you to me now, despite this little. No, unfortunately, I am locked out of using my facilitator command, so I'm just going to talk you through it, and that's the beauty of live, of being live. Okay, so you're going to move on to your first flower in your little garden, which is the white one. In this flower, we're now going to take 3 minutes. So all the exercises are going to be pretty fast, and that's part of it. Sorry, my timer is starting without me wanting to start it. Okay. The whole point of these exercises is that it's painless and it's fast. So don't worry about being precise or perfect. Just get your ideas flowing out. So if you have found your challenge, Now you just put one idea per petal on each of these Post-its that relate to creating content for that. So for example, I placed as my content challenge, I placed launching La Creativa, so my brand. And some of the topics that I fought through were, who is La Creativa? Why did I build it? What's my expertise? What are the services I offer? Each of these go in one of the petals. All right, so let's go. The first 3 minutes. Oh, yes. Thank you, Jessica. If you want to follow me, since I seem to be unable to click to bring you to me, you can go on the top. She put a screenshot in the chat for where you can click for it. All right, you have 1 more minute. Don't worry if you don't get through all 8. If you have like 5 or 6, that would already be a great start for today. All right. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Like, where is everybody at? Do you need more time? Does that feel like 3 minutes? You could get 8 ideas out of your brain. Okay. More time. Let's do another 30
minute.
seconds just to warm yourself up. So if anybody that needed, a moment more. I don't know what's going on also with my timer today, but I'll pause it myself. It doesn't have to be like very deep or like complex ideas now, right? It's just let it flow out. All right. I want to make sure that we get through all the exercise. So it's good. Wherever you're at is fine. Let's try to go to number 2. So I'm going to go back to my own little garden. So if you want to meet me there. Again, if you click at the top on my icon, it should bring you to me. This moved around. Okay. So step number 2, reveal. We're actually shifting. So now we're not necessarily thinking about the content itself. I mean, possibly you could, but you're thinking more about, why could I fail? Why could it fail? What would fail about, for example, my launch? And my ideas were, maybe it's not fun for me to create this type of content, or maybe it has no viewers, or maybe there's bad timing, or what if I don't keep it up, right? So these were my personal challenges with creating this launch, with creating content for this launch. Now I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and I'm going to ask you to reason the same way. So not necessarily be onto what was the single petal, but rather about what Fly back to gardens and let's go for another 3 minutes. All right. Viewers, I'm asking myself, is it the right content for this channel? Is it, what could be what's the question that leads me to potentially going to a solution? If it's bad timing, am I launching it at the right time? If it's that there's low interest or people don't get it, is it the right audience? And now we're going to take 3 minutes to essentially go around that and question, like, how might I, or how can I, or how is it, the question the challenge in a way that will make you think through potential solutions. So I will reveal what's coming next because I think it might help. But for example, for me, if I think my challenge was, it's not fun for me to create this content, the question to get to the solution is, what elements can make it fun, right? If I ask myself what elements, now the next step is I'm thinking, oh, there should have been a creative aspect, or I want to involve others because I'm really motivated when other people are involved. Or if it's about the right audience, then my solution is, okay, then I need to work on identify what the right audience is. And then I will have my list of who my audience is. And that will lead us to the next stage. Okay, so for now, focus only on the green. We have 3 minutes again. So all you little bees, fly back to your gardens. You can always come back to this board if you need, inspiration, or if you need to refresh your memory on the examples. But let's go. We have 3 minutes. There you go. I'm gonna put the music back on. Okay. Okay, a few more seconds. All right, time flies. So now we're gonna speed up because we're coming to the end of our timing, and we're gonna bring it to the next level. So I hope you've had a chance to fill in as many of the green post-its as you can. If you didn't fill all of them, that's fine. I'm gonna bring you back. Well, actually, no, I'm gonna leave you in your boards because that might just be confusing now to have you fly back in. So remember, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes now, only 2, to try and pick 1 or 2 of those green post-its and try to think of that solution. So again, for me, my problem was maybe there's low interest. My question was, is it the right audience? And my yellow post-it was identify the right audience, which I haven't ended up writing in my example, but it would be, for example, I speak to a lot of women entrepreneurs. That is what feels like the right audience to me. So read through your questions and give yourselves some answers. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 5, as many as you can in 2 minutes. Don't do it for all the green, do it for 1 or 2 of them. So then we can move on to the next phase of the exercise. All right, let's go. Oh no, I ended it. I'm having trouble with my timer today. There we go, 2 minutes.
Okay, cool.
I think I'm setting it and I'm actually removing it. For instance, MIMP, I'm sorry, I'm looking over your shoulder, but I see that you're already on the blue flowers. It's just add, if they're not there already, just add some yellow ones and try to give yourself an answer. So it's fine that you've added on the blue, there's another blue flower, so now you, like, it's fine. But you're already trying to give yourself solutions. We'll use the blue flower for another purpose later, but it's fine that you have them there. Like the way that you proceeded through it is correct. So if it's find interesting elements, maybe the question is, which elements are interesting to you? And then on the yellow post-its, you would write that down. I'm gonna give you another few seconds, even though timer is up, so you can work through. Okay. Does everybody sort of has at least 1 or 2 yellow post-its ready to go? Yes, thumbs up, give me a sign. Okay, thank you. I was starting to worry, like, okay, we need another few minutes. This was trouble, and I tested it again, and I mentioned to Cheska when we trialed it is, I think I've been doing it with people that create content professionally, and maybe it just needs more time. So this is actually going to be part of the feedback I'm going to ask in a moment from all of you, is do you just need more time? Okay. Now, next step. We're keeping up a pace. This time I'm going to call you back to me. Oh, looks like my bar is gone already, so you're going to have to call yourselves back to me. I can't click the button anymore, unfortunately. Okay, so now we go to the blue flower. If you call yourselves back to me, I revealed the examples. And what it is that we're going to take one of those yellows post-it, so your problems, and we're going to now start thinking of things that relate to your creating the content, but for that solution. So again, following the thinking of yeah, your mirror bar also, Katerina, yeah, same. So I don't know, just fly back manually, just scroll through the board and find me.
Sorry, Katerina, I think it might have something to do with the resizing. So just either try refreshing or resizing your window and it should snap back. I reported it already, so sorry for that.
Yeah, oh, there you go. It happened. It worked for me. There you go. So now you should all be here. Okay, so getting into it. So again, I'll pick the example of, for me, is like, I was questioning, is it the right audience? So my action was I had to identify the right audience. And for me, it's women entrepreneurs. That means that in this flower, I'm going to think of content that I can create for that audience. So to solve my problem. Or another example was, how could I make creating content fun for me? One of my solutions was to involve others. And so I brainstormed through 8 ideas of what type of content can I create that involves others. For example, creating a survey about women entrepreneurs or organizing community events. Those are content solutions, content spaces, because content is not necessarily just photo or text, right? It can be a webinar, it can be video, it can be a podcast. There's a lot of channels for creating content, even events are one of them. And so I thought through all the 8 ideas that could involve others, and in this way make creating content more fun for me and solve my problem. So stick with me, pick just one. I have 2, it's just to give you examples, just pick one. And we have 3 minutes again, and then we'll wrap up because I'm conscious of everybody's time. So let's go, timer, fly back to your gardens and back to the music on. So again, you're going from your yellow post-it, putting that at the center as a solution, and brainstorming not more solutions. You're starting from the solutions and you're brainstorming content that fits that solution. So Mim, for example, since you had started on the blue flower, now you're confused about this. But if, for example, now on the blue flower, you would put dance challenges, right? So that includes dance challenges. I see one where, for example, find inspiration is the sort of solution at the center. So what inspires you? Think of 8 places or, channels or things that will bring that inspiration to you? All right, one more minute. All right, that's the bell. Okay, the last 3 minutes, and then this is gonna start to make sense. And then we're gonna wrap up. Okay, so I'm gonna quickly, this seems to always wanna be, there we go. Bring everyone to me, and you're all back. Okay, so now we move on to the purple flowers. Now, how we're going to bring all of this together. This I call cross-pollination. So now we're going back to your first content ideas, to your first flower, and we're bringing in these other elements that you've brainstormed through, your solutions, your, how are you going to tackle what makes it not fun or what takes you too long or whatever challenge you've brought together. And you can mix it in a variety of ways. So here I have two examples. One where I've just picked one of my sort of actions, which was identify an audience. And one of the topics that I had put in the white flower, which was talking about my expertise. And I started thinking about what are topics around my expertise that relate to the audience I'm talking to. And I have 8 ideas. Or I put together those two and another problem that I had found, which was, involving others makes it more fun for me. So now it's a balance of, for example, if I organize community events that will make women entrepreneurs connect. I mean, I didn't write it all out, but in my head is like, okay, this is part of my expertise is to be the organizer of these type of moments. Or, if I interview others on their joys and challenges of their work, it gives me a chance to show my expertise in overcoming challenges or finding your joys. So this is kind of how I brought all of that together. Now, for you, it's going to be a balance depending on the challenges you have identified and the content you wanted to write about and how far you've got into this exercise. You're going to have different results, but that's where we're trying to go, where we're putting together, okay, if I want to launch a product, I'm going to speak about these 8 things, but if I also have these challenges, I want to make sure that I get myself to the solution with that content. So last 3 minutes, and then, I'll show you what my final content garden looks like and what some next steps could be. And you can celebrate for being done with having hopefully quite a few content ideas already. So let's go. a minute. So we might have lost somebody on the journey here. So if you have any doubts, I'm gonna timer ends in 3 seconds. So there you go. Okay. I'm gonna give you 1 more minute, but it's really the last. For anybody who I lost, try generating just one idea, at least one, that combines something that you've found identified as a solution and something that pertains to the initial content flower that you have created. So give me one. Just make me feel like you're leaving this workshop with at least one idea. If you already have your ideas and you'd rather roam around and see whatever's ever done, that's fine too. All right, guys, it is 6 p.m. over here in your time zone. I'm not sure, but we are at 1 hour into the workshop, so we went a little bit over time. I'm just gonna close it showing you kind of what it might look like when you have the full board, and I will leave you after this workshop with a link for whoever's interested to have this for yourself if you want to keep practicing with this framework or keep generating content ideas. But essentially, I'm going to bring all to me one last time and reveal this. And okay, so when you start having all the flowers filled in, this is what it could look like, right? You have your array of challenges and potential solutions to brainstorm through. And then when you go into the cross-pollination here, I've copied and pasted a few, you have all these examples of content. Now, how does that relate to AI? I told you I would I would reconnect to that. If you start going from AI and you go and say, I need to generate content to launch, my product, give me 10 ideas of content. It's going to give you very generic ideas. You might, better that prompt a little bit, give some details about your product, or say that you want to post on LinkedIn versus YouTube versus Instagram, right? But it's still not precise enough. Now, just thinking through all the precise details of one content post is then a struggle because it feels too, blank canvas to get there. With this framework, personally, in about one afternoon, I'm over, 200, 300 ideas. In 1 hour, I was at about 100. And then I can go to ChatGPT or to whatever tool where I have, my cross-pollinated flower. I've identified a couple challenges, a couple topics. And for example, I'll just pick one random one, people want to make progress okay, what are my best tips on keeping track or healthy productivity? Then if I go to AI with that, I want to create a post for LinkedIn on this topic, and details about, it knows what La Creativa is and what my expertise is. Then I'm going to have content ideas that are much more elaborated, much more on point, much more authentic to my voice, and I can just tailor them and then take on to the next phase, which, like I was saying, is then you converge, you refine, you review, and you make a plan for how these things are going to be scheduled to be posted. I just gave myself a few notes for the next steps, which would be to start producing and posting. So go through this exercise, get your ideas, and start putting content out there. You will also see, based on quantity, don't expect one post to give you all the analytics to know if it's a success or if it tanked. Give yourself a few posts, a little bit of a journey to analyze, and surround yourself with a mix of your target audience and other professionals that you align with, to see what's working for them. Interact often. It's called social media for a reason, right? So you want to be social, see what that generates, what type of content that brings in. It might give you insights, and then review all those results. Now you have all this information. You can go back to this garden. Maybe you found out that you have a new challenge and you add that to your flower. Or maybe you found out that there's a new expertise that somebody else is talking about that you also have that you can add. And you can keep your own Miro board, your own copy of this template, and keep growing it and keep expanding and polishing it. And then you'll have all these beautiful garden of ideas that you can go back to and take to the next level with a plan. All right, do I have you all? I'm ready to move on to the full closing. So let me close the board and start the little celebration card. So yay, hopefully you created ideas. Hopefully, nobody fell asleep in the process or nobody had a panic attack in the process. And we can just, have a little celebration moment and full checkout energy. How are you feeling at the end of this? So I was, sort of a 6 with my illness. Now I'm like a 9. I'm like active. I'm pumped. I had this session with you guys. My energy is back up. All right. Oh, so we started losing you, Cheska. You went down. You started at 4. Oh no, okay, you're back up. Okay.
I'm back up. I was more just like the support things which are happening in the background. Just like, I need to get started.
All right. Okay. Well, then I think that just, thank you for your time. And that leads us to the feedback, which for those of you who survived this whole thing, I'd love to hear. I prepared 3 really quick polls so that everybody has a chance, but we can, open mics and talk through it as well. So, yeah, it'd be lovely to get your feedback on what you think was valuable to you. For example, what do you feel like you could use this again?
Any brave soul who wants to start? I think before we start that, like, thank you, Sylvia, I guess, for taking us through that and like actually really curating the experiences and designing the board. I'm sure Madia also has more to say. But I just wanted to thank you first.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you again for hosting and taking us through this journey of creativity. It was an interesting one because, like by the end of the exercise, you had generated a lot of ideas, and I saw a lot of the boards, they did get there. I think we just needed more time because, creativity doesn't have a time limit. It can go on and on and on. But this exercise was very valuable because it's very rare to see that by the end of an activity you generate so many ideas. So I think that was a plus point. That is what I'm going to take away, this method, like how to hone in and then come up with a variety of points. So that's from my side. Anyone else? That'd be great. Oh, we do have someone from Katerina.
Yeah, I'm also just letting it go in the background. So if anybody wants to fill in the poll or speak up, both are fine.
Yeah, feel free, guys. It's a small group now. So
Yeah.
just go.
I actually am just passing on feedback from Nim because she needed to rush right after. But basically, she was sharing that she would have loved a bit more of the silent and solo moments because she liked the design, but also the silent and solo moments to think about the ideas because that's
Mhm.
her mode of working, and it would be nice to have clearer, or I'm just gonna read through. She doesn't do well with people talking through whilst I'm thinking, but that's her way of working. So having,
Mhm.
I guess, that spaces when people have time to think versus sharing examples would have been better for her.
Okay. Yeah, it's been challenging to design this to fit, 30 minutes of effective workshop, which ended up being, 40. Because you need to go through the whole process to see the end, right? But at the same time, ideally this would take like 3 hours to really give yourself like 10 minutes per step. And it's not necessarily that each flower can take 3 minutes, but you give yourself some time if you need it, you take a break, you breathe through, you review. I have more time to maybe discuss examples. But thank you for pushing through with me and doing this extra speedy express version.
Maybe Silvia, if you use Miro AI to help us create post-its, it could help and accelerate the process. Maybe because you were talking about AI, and I thought, oh, okay, that's a very extensive framework. So maybe if we were using AI in the process, it could fit into this 30 minutes
Yeah.
session. Maybe, I don't know.
I found
Yes.
the workshop very interesting. I'm sorry I couldn't, be more productive because I just I had the training on UX design, and we are so tired. There's no more. I have no more brain, and there is no room, no more room for creativity because we went, through the all the convergent, divergent, well, phases. But I found this exercise very interesting, and definitely I will use this for the content production because I will be in a phase of of launching a new service. So, I mean, it's great. About AI, I mean, we all try to use AI to be, to have ideas, or but we have to have we have to uh, have great guidelines to guide the and train the agent, the AI agent, to be really interesting and to have quality content. But definitely, I will use this this tool. Thank you,
I'm glad.
Silvia.
Thank you.
It's awesome feedback. I have a plus one to share there. I really like the structure. I feel like it actually, when you started, when you showed the last part, that was almost like a whoa, this is what we can complete. I don't know if like maybe putting that sort of example without going to the details would sort of get people a bit excited up front. They're like, okay, this is like the bounty of ideas we can create within a short period of time. How can I sort of challenge myself? That was one thought went well. And I was just observing, I wasn't necessarily participating, so please take it with a grain of salt. Timing of the activities, which is something you wanted to test as well. So I guess we got loads of learnings there. And also, I wonder if, but this is more on the choreography, the whole like going between personal works, like space to create content garden versus following you when it was instruction time. I wonder if there's something around just giving or putting examples nearer to the people so they can always refer back to that and knowing how much time they have in each step. So before they
Okay.
sort of progress. But
Yeah.
that was more a choreography thing.
No, I mean, definitely the flying in and back. I sort of realized now doing it with a bigger group. I think when I was maybe doing it with 2 or 3 people to test it, the speaking through it dynamic is different than when you have a larger group and maybe it's your first time using Miro and all that. So yeah, for sure. Thank you. I will rethink through that. And I will, when I give you guys, those who want to access to the template to sort of keep playing with, I will give it to you with the full flower circle. So as you're going through it, you already sort of have it in place to show all the 100 ideas of that circle, plus as many of the purple as you want to make.
Silvia, did you ever use for Miro the layering?
Yeah, I mean, some items are on top and some are below. Is that
Yeah.
what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think as soon as I had issues with coming into Miro and falling out of and so, but as soon as I had the whole overview with the size and so it was I mean, then yeah, and I
Then
just
it
get
works
it.
out. Okay.
Thanks.
I'm sorry you had the technical issues. I hope the notes in the back of how to do it on paper could have been useful.
Yeah, it's fine. No, I think it's when you have the first and the last step and the whole overview, then you get it. That's not a big thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a comment. It's just I think it's just about the UX design because Sylvia, you mentioned you're more used to in a smaller cohort, like 1-to-1s or maybe 1-2, and this was like a first time for you to have a lot of people in one session. So I was wondering maybe the design of the petals, because the idea was bees, pollination, and everything, right? And if you want to stick to the flowers and the petals, maybe the petals could be less in number. So so it also would look like it won't look overwhelmingly as well. Like, oh my god, I have to fill all the petals. So maybe that's just a UX design. That's a
Okay.
comment. Yeah. For a group activity. Obviously, if you're doing this with a one-to-one, you're designed perfectly.
No, but also for timing, if I need to do the express version, maybe having less petals to fill. But on the other side of that medal, my thinking was, if I feel like I need to do 8, I might get to 6. If I know that I have to do 4, I'm gonna get 4. So there's also a little bit of the challenge of like pushing yourself to be fast and not let your brain get into deep processing mode. Do you really want to have like almost like a gut reaction to it?
Yeah. I mean, like Cheska has a comment like, were you thinking of offering it as a 1 hour or maybe even extended workshop? So that's another possibility to think about as well.
Yeah, I think extended. I think ultimately this deserves to have a little bit more time to go through to really get you to value.
More thinking time, I think. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Katarina, also go ahead freely.
Yeah, about the number of petals, maybe you could have like 3 petals in the beginning, like a small flower, and then it could grow in the process of the workshop, because we can I don't know, energize more and be more creative in this process, because how I felt is that I had a lot of flowers to fill and if you pour more petals but one flower, maybe I could feel a little bit more comfortable, like sort of progression. I don't know, maybe that's how my brain works, but I loved it. It was lovely. It made me reflect on some things that are holding me back in creating content. So I think you have gold in your hands in this part, because it's more of a personal reflection. Maybe you could split, like have a workshop related to this, more kind of like a content therapy session, and then the other part, the creating content, because I feel like I was thinking about these problems and these things, that the struggles I have while creating content, and it was a little hard to release myself from them and then start creating ideas. So maybe if I can reflect on those, think of solution to those, and later think of content, maybe it will help. I don't know.
That's a fantastic idea. Can I steal content therapy from you?
Content therapy.
That's
like a 2-part workshop. Yeah.
It will be lovely.
A workshop together if you want, just like helping people go through the process of why are you struggling with content, and then like maybe in a second time, how can you tackle those challenges and create content that is aligned to you and, goes past those struggles.
Yes, because I think when we think about the challenges first, and usually when people have with this type of theme, they have a lot of personal struggles. For me, it was the fear of exposure, for example. I guess when creating ideas, I'm coming from a negative perspective because I'm reflecting on these issues. If I treat them first, and then I can enter this creative process with a more positive side, a more positive perspective, maybe I can be more creative. That's how my brain works.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And since I have you here for one last minute, one last question would be, do you think that, imagine that this was a longer session and we went through it more calmly. And so session 1 is, okay, now you have this garden and you really, maybe a smaller group, and I can really tailor conversation one-on-one a little bit, because that's just also, I realize is how I work through things, is a little bit of personalized interaction as well. Would you find value in then a workshop part 2 or 3 at this point, content therapy being one, when we work in the following workshop with the get to a plan? So now we sort of like diverged, and then we would take the next step of like, okay, I have all these ideas, what do I do with it? Yeah,
I think that would be genius, because then we can take these ideas out into the world and out of the mirror board. that would be ideal for me.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody.
I love this discussion. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I entered
More
really
interactive.
tired, and I'm leaving really energized. And that's why I think facilitation and workshop design is my future and my path and my journey, because this feels too good. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
That's such a nice closing. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all once again, and thank you for staying, over the time. It like Cheska said, this discussion was really like in deep and really, good feedback. Again, Silvia has, if you want to connect with Silvia, she has her LinkedIn on the whiteboard, so feel free to connect with her. And we will be posting the the sandbox video soon, and with the template. Sylvia will share the template.
Exactly.
So again,
I will send you, I need to prepare it so that in a way that you can sort of copy and have it on your own Mira account and use whenever you want, but I'll have that, ready tonight. So as soon as tomorrow, you can have it.
Yeah, so we'll share the recap in the community as well as in the social media. Again, thank you all. So good night, morning, wherever you are, or getting ready. So
Bye.
take care. See you again.
You.